Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to Cooking with Charles. That's me. That's pretty cool. It's also tied to a new program we have, and these programs are just meal kits. We have boxes full of wonderful, fresh, locally sourced ingredients, and each kit will be tied to a particular meal or recipe. Every kit will come with a recipe card and a link to this video or whichever video it is for that kit. So without further ado, let's see what's in our box today. So I'm going to pretend like it's Christmas morning. I just got up at 5 o'clock. I'm getting ready to go see what I have underneath the Christmas tree. Shall we? Breadcrumbs. These are all for Meatloaf. We have everything pre-packaged for you. Everything is labeled. It's really easy this way. Worcestershire sauce. It's exactly how it's pronounced. I did Google it. That is for the meatloaf. Here's some more Worcestershire sauce and ketchup. This is for the glaze that goes on top of the meatloaf. Oh, we have farm fresh eggs, y'all. That's what's up. A whole bunch of seasoning packets. Oh, boy. So these are for the potatoes. This is for the meatloaf. These are for the garlic and Parmesan roasted carrots. Oh, my gosh. Anybody else getting hungry? Just me? Okay. And then for the glaze, but wait, there's more. Nice onion, and a lot of this produce that you're seeing, I just got today from the Abingdon's Farmers Market. So Mokum carrots, which I got from Creative Seeds out of Glade, the most unbelievably great carrots I've ever tried in my life. A green bell pepper, some beautiful, gorgeous, white new potatoes. I never had anything bad to say against the old potatoes. I don't know why we have to go with new, but you know. And last, but certainly not least, beef. This is from Laurel Springs. They are based out of Marion, Virginia. I am in love with their beef. I highly recommend it. Any chance you get to try them out, please do. So, yep, that's everything. So what would we be making with breadcrumbs, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, and meat, and a few other things? Cornflake. No, that's not it. How about meatloaf? Yes, today's meal kit is a meatloaf. Pretty simple, but we're going to start simple. And as we go along with the videos, we'll have varying levels of difficulty, creativity, and we would love to hear from you all. What do you all want to see? What do you all want the meal kits to contain? Okay. So your meal kit came with a recipe card. You're welcome just to go by it, or you're welcome to cook along with me. But the first thing I must tell you or recommend is something called mise en place. Basically, that's just a fancy French way of saying get all your stuff together before you start. So I've got all my ingredients here. What else do I need? I need a mixing bowl. Check. I'm going to do my meatloaf in a loaf pan. This is a 9x13. You don't have to use a loaf pan if you want to do meatloaf. You can just form it yourself and put it on a cookie sheet or baking sheet and go that way. I chose to do this just so I can keep everything tight and close together. And I lined my pan, if you can see, with parchment paper. It helps it come out cleaner, basically, is the reason why. Got my handy dandy towels right next to me. I've got a couple of sharp things. I think that's like a butter knife or something. So now that we've got all of our supplies right at your fingertips, we need heat. So I have gone ahead and preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And for all of you Celsius and centigrade people, that's something different. So we've got that preheating to 350 degrees. I've got my mise en place right here. Let's start chopping some stuff. So in your kit, you got one whole white or yellow onion. We're going to dice this guy. And we're going to put a pretty fine dice on it because we're not going to cook it before it goes in the meatloaf. So we don't want big chunks of raw veggies in our meatloaf. So if you cut it a little bit smaller, it'll cook a little bit better within the loaf. This is how I cook or dice an onion. You've got this part with all the curly hairs. This is exactly what my hair looked like this morning, which is really, really cool. Not at all, but still. You're going to keep that. You don't want to chop that side off. So we're going to chop right here. Throw that guy away. And now we're going to cut in half. Like so. Now we have two beautiful halves of an onion. Now, half of this onion is going to be used for the meatloaf. The other half is going to be used for the roasted potatoes, which come later. I always take the top slice, if you will, of the layer of the onion off, because it can be plasticky or chewy. And now, how do we get small dices? There's a few different ways, so I'm just going to show you how I do mine. I start by making a slice in right there, and then a little bit further down, another slice inward. Now, I turn that hairy piece away from me, and I start making slices down this way. And the closer together you get them, the smaller the dice will be. Also, while we're at it, I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to have a very sharp knife. You might think it's counterintuitive. The sharper the knife, the safer it is. But seriously, if you have a not sharp knife and you're trying to cut through these onions, especially with any speed, you're going to lose a digit or at least part of your finger. Not that I know from experience. Now, I've made all my preliminary slices and cuts. We're going to go back now and cut against the grain that we just cut into dices. Just finish it up around the edge there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a pretty nice petite dice on your onion. We're going to go into our large mixing bowl with the onion. Now we've got this beautiful green bell pepper. We got this from a place called JR's today in Bristol. I guess that's still the Virginia side. Everybody does this a little bit differently. There's no really right or wrong way to dice a bell pepper. I'm just, again, going to show you how I like to do it. But basically, you're looking for the same size dice as you had in the onions. However that's easiest for you is how you should do it. But I usually just start right into the green bell pepper like that. And then I kind of slice and roll it out. I just dodge those seeds. And now I have a butterfly green bell pepper. Hooray. Now we're only going to use half of this bell pepper for the meatloaf. So I'm going to guesstimate half is about right there. Put my other half away and save it for my taters. And now we want to dice the bell pepper. This is pretty simple. I do recommend you put the skin side down on your cutting board. It's just easier to slice through this way. So, just make little strips, like so. Then turn it perpendicular. Now comes the dice. You never want to leave your hand or fingers out flat like that when you're chopping, especially if you're doing it rapidly. But where I had everything lined out in such a line, I'm just kind of holding everything steady with my hand. If I were doing anything with this direction, I would definitely be tucking my fingers. Like that. Alright, so we've got our beautifully diced onion and green bell pepper. Just kind of get these guys in the mix. Next, we are going to add the beef. Again, this came from Laurel Springs out of Marion, Virginia. Just going to slice them open. Dump the beef right into the mixing bowl. So this is roughly 2 pounds of ground beef for this recipe. Also, you can always switch it up a little bit. You could do half ground beef and ground pork, for instance. That's a really great flavor. However you want to do this, just make it your own. What do you and your family and friends like? That's all it means. That's all you have to do. We're not going to use that knife again until I wash it. You know, cross-contamination and all that jazz. So we have our 2 pounds of ground beef from Laurel Springs, and our onion and our bell pepper. We've got a little bit more to go. In here, we have 2 farm fresh eggs. Just look at that color. Now, I usually say for this recipe, either 1 really large egg or 2 small, medium-ish eggs. I like a little bit more egg than what normal recipes probably call for, mainly because it's a great binder. It helps things hold together. So we're going to crack these guys right in there. Look at that yolk color. That is just amazing. That's local, ladies and gentlemen. And then with my fingers, I'm just going to kind of break the egg yolk up so it's kind of beaten. Doesn't have to be perfect. Next, we have breadcrumbs. These are just regular panko breadcrumbs. I recommend getting unseasoned, but hey, if you want to make it your own, you can do whatever you like. So we've got about 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs going in here. Next, we have the Worcestershire sauce and ketchup. This has already been combined for you. And that's going right in there. And the Worcestershire sauce that we use here, we get from Bourbon Barrel. Basically, they prepare everything in old bourbon barrels, and it gives such a great bourbony, smoky hint to it. I love it. Recommend it. Next, we have the dry seasoning packet, which consists of dried basil, dried oregano, mustard powder, and crushed red pepper. Just right on in there. I always keep a lot of salt on hand just because I use salt in everything, so I'm getting ready to come to that salt. I'm just going to change my gloves real quick. Now for the salt and or pepper, just do as much or as little as you want. Everybody's different, so as you can see, I put about 3 good pinches in there. That should be enough for 2 pounds of meat. Alright, so I put my salt in there, I've changed my gloves, I'm going to put some ground pepper in there. If you have a pepper mill and you can put fresh ground pepper, I really do recommend that. There's a huge difference. Voila, as they say. So there you go. There is our meatloaf. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think. Have a great... We forgot something. Okay, yeah, we probably should cook it. Okay, so we've got all the ingredients in the mixing bowl. Now it's the fun part. Everybody wants to get messy on occasion, right? So let's get messy. Just start massaging everything in together. We're making our meat happy at this moment. It's a double-edged sword, though. I mean, we have to get everything really mixed well together. Yes, but we don't want to keep mixing and mixing, even though I could do this for days. I could take out all my aggression. I could practice my masseuse skills, all that jazz. You don't want to do it because it's going to make the meatloaf tough. And we want a nice, tender, flaky, or not flaky, but tender, juicy meatloaf. And there it is. Everything's mixed together perfect. So I have my prepared pan here. I'm going to put a little bit of nonstick spray in here. And by a little bit, I mean about half a can. That might be somewhat of an exaggeration. And then we just kind of form it before it goes in. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then we plop it in. And now we kind of push everything to where it's all one even layer. Very important. Otherwise, you're going to have a mohawk on this side, and then it's just going to be nothing down here. And that's weird looking to begin with, but that's also going to make it not cook evenly. So basically, you're going to burn this side, and this side might still be raw. We don't want raw meat. Not raw beef, at least. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's good. This is our uncooked meatloaf. One last thing before we put that in the oven. As every good meatloaf has to have a topping, right? Yeah. So our topping is pretty simple, but I promise you it's so delicious. It's our bourbon Worcestershire sauce, ketchup, and a couple of seasonings. We're going to stir that all together. Stirring makes it happy. And then we're going to pour it on top. I like to go just right down the middle, because from there you can move it around however you want it. Meatloaf glaze. Now with my spoon, I just kind of spread it evenly across. Yes, we're going to make it happy. It's a happy, happy meatloaf. It's by Bob Ross. Yeah. Guys, I wish you all could smell this. I wish you could see exactly what I'm seeing right now. It smells incredible in here, and I haven't even cooked anything yet. The beauty, the sheen from that glaze is just amazing. Like, at this point, I really just want to take this spoon and just start eating. Probably shouldn't do that. I highly recommend you don't do that. But I'm just telling you, this looks and smells amazing, and it's only just begun. So now all we have to do is put it in the oven. Again, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Because if you did Celsius, I can only imagine you'd probably burn your house down. And we're going to go for approximately 45 to 55 minutes. Basically, you want the internal temperature of this to be 160 degrees, at least. You don't want to go way above that either, because then you're going to start drying everything out. So 160 is the magic number. If you can pull it out of your oven right at 160, it's going to toast up to 165, and it's going to be perfectly well done. So I'm putting this in the oven. And then we're going to come back and check on that in about 45 minutes. That gives me plenty enough time to thank you all very much for watching and listening to this video. There's going to be plenty more to come. We really want to hear your thoughts, what you all want to see, what kind of kits you would like for us to put together for you. This is really our way of just keeping engaged with the customers, with you all, with our family. When you make this, I implore you, take pictures. We want to see what it looks like. So make this kit, make all of our kits, take lots of pictures, send it to us, put it on our Instagram or Facebook so that we can see what all magic everyone comes up with. Now, once that comes out, I'll have a little picture for you. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching me cook, and I hope you're cooking along with me. And we'll see you soon.